Parents, when did you realize your child was dangerous? My son Caleb was 5 when he asked me why the goldfish stopped moving. I explained that Sonny had died, that sometimes animals get sick and pass away. He nodded slowly, processing. Then he looked up at me with those big brown eyes and said, I know. I held him under the water until he stopped wiggling. I wanted to see what would happen. I told myself it was curiosity. Kids don't understand death. They experiment. That's normal, right? His mother and I bought him a hamster the next month, thinking he needed to learn responsibility and empathy. We named her Peanut. She lasted 3 weeks before we found her at the bottom of the stairs with a broken neck. Caleb said she jumped. He said it with the same calm voice he used to ask for more juice at dinner. By 8, Caleb had learned to mimic emotions perfectly. He'd watch his younger brother Damon laugh at cartoons and copy the exact sound. He studied how I hugged my wife and replicated the gesture when teachers were watching. His report card said he was charming and helpful. At home, he was something else entirely. I caught him standing over Damon's crib one night, just staring down at his sleeping brother, not touching him, just watching with this expression I'd never seen on a child's face. When I asked what he was doing, he smiled and said, counting his breaths. The therapist said he was gifted but struggled with emotional regulation. She recommended more quality time, more patience. She didn't see what I saw behind his eyes when he thought no one was looking. Damon started having nightmares at 4 years old. He'd wake up screaming about the shadow boy who whispered things to him. We assumed it was normal childhood fears until I installed a camera in his room. The footage made my blood freeze. At 2 a.m., Caleb crept into Damon's room, leaned over his bed, and whispered directly into his ear for 6 straight minutes. I couldn't hear what he said on the recording. When I confronted Caleb, he denied everything, said I must have been seeing things. Then he looked at the camera in the corner of Damon's room and smiled directly into it. He knew. He'd known the whole time. That night, I put a lock on Damon's door. The next morning, I found scratch marks on the outside of it. Things escalated when Caleb turned 12. Damon came to me shaking, showing me his forearm. 4 deep scratches, perfectly parallel. Caleb told him if he said anything, he'd tell everyone Damon was crazy and no one would believe him. He said people always believe the older brother. I confronted Caleb again. He sat on his bed, completely calm, and asked, what are you going to do about it? Send me away? Mom will never let you. She thinks I'm perfect. He was right. My wife couldn't see it. She'd excuse everything. Blame stress. Blame school. Blame me for being too harsh. When I showed her the camera footage, she said I was overreacting. When I showed her Damon's arm, she said, boys roughhouse. I was losing my mind trying to protect one son from the other while everyone around me acted like I was the problem. The breaking point came on Damon's 8th birthday. We were at the lake house, all of us together, trying to be a normal family. Damon was swimming near the dock when I heard splashing, thrashing. I ran outside and saw Caleb standing on the dock, arms crossed, watching his little brother struggle underwater. Damon's head kept going under. Caleb wasn't panicking. He wasn't calling for help. He was just watching with that same expression from the crib. I dove in and pulled Damon out. He was coughing up water, crying, saying Caleb pushed him and held his head down. When I turned to Caleb, he shrugged and said, he's lying. I was trying to help him. My wife believed him. She always believed him. That night, I packed Damon's things and drove him to my sister's house 3 states away. I told my wife she could keep her perfect son. I chose to save the one who still had a chance. Caleb is 19 now. I read about him sometimes in local news from my old town. Restraining orders, assault charges that never stick. A girlfriend who disappeared and was found 2 counties away, alive but refusing to speak about what happened. My ex-wife still defends him. Damon is in college studying psychology, trying to understand what grew up in the room next to his.